Are you a youth in the Kampala metropolitan zone? Do you have business ideas and you don't know where to start them? Join the Youth Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program by the Funland Club. Whether you're interested in web designing, digital marketing, or content creation,
Imagine learning business skills from problem solving to content creation, all from the comfort of your home. You will gain the skills you need and the confidence to put them into practice.
Joining this program gives you access to exclusive learning on entrepreneurship, including design thinking and digital marketing. Plus, you'll be able to learn from the experts and also present your ideas to a wider audience.
By the end of the program, you have the complete business idea that you're ready to display to the world. And plus, we'll provide the resources and support that you need to make it happen. Funland Club is here to guide you every step of the way.
At the end of the program, you will have a chance to unveil your business idea on the Innovation Corner TV show and even showcase it at the Kidspreneur Africa Summit in Dar es Salaam. This is your chance to building your future. Let's make your business idea a reality.
It's more than just learning. It's about taking action and launching your business.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Innovation Corner. This show is brought to you by Funland Club and Hope Channel Uganda. And this month, our focus is going to be pitching, how to prepare for the perfect pitch, things that you need to keep in mind, how to overcome fear and all these things, and the things that you need to do post-pitch. So we're going to dive into all this over the course of the next 4 weeks and ensure that we prepare you to pitch your businesses whenever the opportunity arises. So you are wondering, who am I? My name is Michelle Mmamate, and I am your host for today. I am the packaging and processing manager at Westling Delicacy Api Group Limited, as well as the environmental focal person there. So again, what exactly is Funland Club? So Funland teaches IT and innovation by employing digital art, and it also has tech innovation clubs in several schools like Kaboja International School, Light High School, and the Brook International School. I would also like to introduce to you our Innovation Corner event that's coming up, which is the Kampala Metropolitan Zone event, which is going to be an innovation and entrepreneurship opportunity for all ambassadors in the Kampala Metropolitan Zone. So this is going to be a training session. We're going to be taught how to pitch, how to introduce our businesses, and just to grow the idea from simply being an idea and helping you grow to the point of implementation and giving you the opportunity and resources that you need that you may not have had prior. And on today's show, I have a guest with me who is Mr. Joseph Iriho, the co-founder of Maxfy and a digital trainer. I'm going to ask him to tell us a bit more about himself and the things that he does so that we may better get to know who is going to be taking us through pitching and how qualified is he to be the one teaching us. Yes, please, Mr. Joseph.
I would like to introduce myself. Like she just said, I'm from the training background. So I'm a digital tools trainer with the ILO. ILO stands for International Labour Organization. And I train different packages in businesses. So one package is SRIB, which is start and improve your business. Another package is digital tools. And then the third package is called Upshift. So Upshift is basically about design thinking and how to use human-centered design to approach different opportunities or different problems that we have in our communities. And this is also falls into the objectives of the fund run, which is addressing such kind of issues using innovation. So today, our main focus is going to be about pitching, like you said. And I'm really glad to be here this morning, and I can't wait to unleash what I have.
So much, Mr. Joseph. So our focus for today's episode is going to be preparing for the perfect pitch. As we all know, when we have something great to do, we need to prepare for it. You can't just wake up and you have the perfect pitch. So we're going to go through the steps that we need to take to ensure that we are ready for those clients, those investors, and those people that we just want to make aware of what we are doing, because you do not know the role that they will play in our business in the future. They could be future investors, future clients, future preferences, and all these things. So, Mr. Joseph, please take us into preparing for a perfect pitch.
Well, pitching is one way that everyone uses to close a business. What I mean is that everyone has to be a storyteller if you want to do business. And one way you have to do that is through pitching. There is no single investor on this planet who has ever given money without hearing your story. So, as a business person, as an entrepreneur out there, you have to master the skill set of what pitching is about. And today we're going to look at different aspects on how a perfect pitch should look like. And it's just a deep dive, but you have to figure out how to bring your perfect pitch and your good stories when you're out there, because your story has to be compelling in a way that has to make someone pull the money out of their pocket and give it to you. Now, I'll give you an example. Picture this. Have you ever gone to downtown market and just bought a thing without speaking any word? Well, that happens in a supermarket, but that's not the case in many businesses. All businesses require that interaction, which includes negotiation, bargaining of prices, and this is all about pitching. And now, as innovators, you have to look at the art of making sure that your pitch looks comparing, looks attractive, so that someone can look at you and be like, wow, this is the right person to invest in my money. Well, diving deeper into our pitch, you must be as persuasive as you can. What I mean by persuasiveness is that you need to make sure that when you bring out your story, I am able to tell that this person is the right person to either give my money or to work with. Now, pitching happens at all angles. As a partner, you pitch your partner to your fellow partners. As a business person, you pitch to your partners, to your suppliers. You pitch to the people who buy from you. That means your customers and clients. And if you don't master this particular skill, then it's very hard for you to close the business. Now, today we are going to look at different parts that comply or comprise a very good pitch. Yeah, and then one thing I want you to keep at the back of your mind is that this pitch should have a story. This pitch should have an introduction. This pitch should have a body. This pitch should contain qualities that make sure that you've delivered your best when you're delivering this pitch. Now, you must make sure that when you're telling your story or when you're pitching to whoever you're pitching to, connect with them emotionally. Make sure your narrative is connecting to them. Make sure that you are at the angle where this person looks at you and be like, oh my goodness, how did he do it? Or how does she do it? You know, people in the sales places, I mean, you might be 100 and one person is making more money than the rest, yet you're doing more or less the same thing. The reason is one, this person knows how to deliver the story, and you have not mastered the way of delivering your story in a more effective way. Okay, so looking at your pitch should contain particular qualities like we're going to look at. One, your pitch should be very, very visual. When you have a pitch that possibly you're going to sell to an investor, it has to contain evidence of your work in the recent or past years. Why? The reason is that people connect to visuals, or humans are more visual centered. So they want to have evidence of work. Even when you're projecting, by the way, when you're projecting, okay, let's say my business in 1 year or 5 years is going to be like this. So you have to look at your competitors, what they're doing, and let your business or let your innovation to make sure it makes relevance. What I mean by relevance is that when I look at the numbers, when I look at for instance, the people you've impacted or the people you want to impact in a particular country, which has to include maybe the demographics, I mean, age, sex, age ranges. So when you're making out your speech, you make sure that you have done enough research. For instance, if you're in Uganda, UBOS, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, should be your best example when you bring out your numbers. Why? Because people will trust that source more than all other sources. people always say, I've done research, but what's the basis of that research? You have to make sure that your pitch contains the evidence of the research. So how you bring out is that you can use a screenshot on your PC or your phone of maybe I checked on this particular internet page and I found these particular numbers, and these numbers were from maybe 2016 to 2021. Why you have to bring out that is that people need to know that this is actually existing. If you're bringing out a problem, you must make sure that this problem connects with the current situation. I mean, I'm not going to come and be like a 1960 person in terms of my numbers, yet we're in 2025, for instance. That won't make any sense. Unless I'm bringing out a history, which I believe that history is going to connect with the person who is interested to partner or give me the money for my next business. So you must understand who your audience is. So your audience can be an investor, like we said earlier. Your audience can be, for instance, you can be having a boardroom of maybe business partners. Your other audience can be people who just watching you. For instance, some people pitch on TVs, so speak about their ideas, and they don't know who is going to either be interested in a business or make them next sale. So your audience must relate to your pitch. So if I make a pitch for an investor, it has to be different from a pitch for my customer. Why does it have to be different? A customer is not interested in your projections, for example. Your customer is interested to understand the importance of that product or service. For instance, let's say I manufacture cars, and my customer is a Ugandan local person, and I want them to buy this car. My pitch has to be tailored to make sure they understand the power engine, or how fast is it, or how good looking it is. People are interested in designs, other people are interested in quality, and people are interested in fast or speed. So when you're delivering out your pitch, when you're presenting out there, make sure that those qualities are coming out, because this pitch is tailored for your customers. But now, I'm a manufacturer company and I'm going to meet an investor who is interested in putting money. Well, I'm not going to focus on those particular areas I just mentioned. I'm just going to come out and be like, okay, a company in the last 1 year, we were a $1 million company. That's an example. Sorry to use dollars. But then I have to show this investor in the next 5 years, we're going to move from $1 million to $20 million. Now, I'm going to take this investor through how we're going to get there. How? We're targeting maybe Ugandan market, but the next 1 year we're going to be targeting at East Africa. So an investor is interested to know how your growth plan is going to look like. How do I, enter into your business, and how do we make sure that we partner? So you must make sure that you've done enough research about a particular product or particular service that you're going to present. If you don't have research, then you're always likely to fail. Why? Especially to investors, these people have got a lot of experience in knowing who is telling a lie and who is telling the truth, because they deal with numbers, and numbers don't lie, trust me. If I come to you and be like, we are 45 million Ugandans, I'm going to base on the last census that was conducted in the last year. And now, if I lie about that and an investor goes online, for instance, and they find out currently we are maybe 50 million US dollars, 50 million Ugandans, they are already off. So you're losing them. So that's why you have to make sure that your numbers in your research are very accurate. Now, when you're crafting your message, you must make sure that you clearly bring out your communication in a way that is going to speak to me directly. What I mean is, do not only based on numbers, do not only based on evidence, but try to be as exemplary as you can, and try to be as you as you can. What I mean by being you is that, I mean, business does not happen with machines. Business happens with human interactions. So if I do not connect with you, it's very hard for me to buy from you. I give an example. I buy from different shops, and I can buy a product in maybe say 1 mile away from my home, a product that I can find to my neighbor's shop. Reason being is because I like the way they treat me. Now that's preaching. When I go there and I buy this product, this person says, "Oh, thank you, you're welcome." Different ones I use. That also includes pitching. So you must make sure that you have a way that you listen, like you grow your relationships with whoever you're trying to pitch to, or whoever you're trying to let. So when you try to look at the structure or the key structures that comprise a pitch, one, you must make sure you have an introduction. You must make sure you bring out your argument very accurately. So your argument should be evidence based, and you must make sure that you're able to summarize your pitch. What I mean by summarizing, if you go into to present something and you forget key things like, for instance, a call to action, I'll forget to mention what you want, your ask is going to be about, it's very hard for these people to connect with you. So make sure that your pitch has some particular aspects when you're giving out that pitch. So your introduction is very good because you're going to connect with people. People want to connect with people they understand. I won't start my pitch and be like, okay, welcome to Ford. Maybe I'm doing a Ford company which manufactures cars, and I'm like, okay, welcome to Ford. We've manufactured 1,000 cars in the last 1 year. Well, that's amazing because you're speaking numbers, but we have not heard you, so we don't know who you are, uh, and what your interests are. So you must make sure that your introduction is very, very key. And when you particularly simplifying complex ideas, to make sure you bring out your clarification, is that you must make sure you use a plain language. You forgive me, I may be using hard language, but when you're targeting, let's say, I'm a Coca-Cola company and my customers are going to be people in a village out there. So when I'm crafting my pitch, it doesn't have to look like a pitch that I'm crafting for people who are in maybe Tinder, Kololo, and Entebbe and stuff like that. So understanding where your audience are should relate to your language, the language that you use when you're delivering your story or delivering your pitch. So you must make sure that you prioritize delivering key points, making sure that your important information come out. For instance, a pitch that is very good must have an ask, must have a growth strategy, it must have a story. If you miss out those three components, it's very hard for you to make a sale or make a business. The reason is one, people would like to understand what is key in your pitch, and the other aspect is that you must make sure that you're memorable when you're delivering your pitch. And what people should remember is exactly what you want them to remember, not what they want to remember. One, you can emphasize on numbers, you can emphasize on a story, you can emphasize on your past, okay, how your growth strategy is and how you're good. For instance, you can make sure you focus on your team because a team is very, very key and important. And then when you're making your vision shouldn't just be about pictures. Your visuals can be graphics. I mean graphs. Speaking about numbers, the reason why you use graphs, especially for investors, is to know that you're really giving your time to know about your numbers in your business, and it's very key, and you shouldn't forget about it. And you have to be mindful about adapting to your audience. If I wake up in the morning and I'm going to deliver a pitch to an audience who have just got from bed and are seated out there, it can never look like an audience that I'm presenting to in the evening. What I mean is when you enter a room and you find an audience, for instance, that has um, been sad, how do you adopt? Make sure that you fall into the vibe of the audience. Uh, if you find an audience that is feeling low, uh, try to compromise, but also bring them into your pitch. So how you come out introduction and how do you pull them to yourself is very, very key. So you must make sure that you understand their interests. These audiences are from different backgrounds. These audiences are from different spaces, and knowing their interests is very key for you, because if you know their interests, then you're able to connect with them easily. If I come to Uganda and I'm telling them stories of Malawi or South Africa, it's very hard for me to connect. But if I tell them the stories of what is happening, like for instance, there could be a political crisis, propaganda, which I don't advise you to be too political when you're making business sales, though it can also sell for you. It depends on what kind of line you're doing. So what I mean here is that understand your audience and what they're interested in. If you're going to an audience that likes football, for instance, do not start presenting about volleyball because, well, what does that make sense for them? So you must make sure that you know the interests of your audience. If you're going to speak about coffee and this audience likes wine, why should that then make sense? Make sure that you know these people's interests. So how you can do that is that you can learn about the location of these people are, where most of them come from, what they do, and they know what this kind of people do. You can use AI, for instance, to know about how to understand your audience. You can use Google and different other platforms. And you must make sure that your language is connecting to them. If I enter, for instance, to Jamaica, and you know how Jamaicans' language is. So, and I'm using this formal language, which I, of course, I'm giving a pitch. But then when you know you're presenting to musicians, be like musical. When you're presenting to uh, footballers, people in football, be like a football person. When you're presenting to politicians, present like a politician. So make sure that you understand how all that goes. So as you're finalizing your pitch, you have to understand that there are always feedbacks that happen at the end of every pitch. Feedbacks can come from audience, feedback can come from judges for people who are doing pitch context, and these feedbacks are not there to to go against you, to object what your proposition are. But feedbacks are a very good key to make sure that your business can grow. And you must be very receptive to feedbacks. If you're not, then you're going to be a very, very bad business person. So you make sure that your feedback or how you accept feedback is very important to make sure that your business can actually grow. Yeah. So as we are coming to a conclusion of our pitch and its main components, how you craft your pitch, how you simplify your language, and then you make sure you deliver key messages is very important. So what I want you to remember every time you go out to pitch, don't forget the story. Do not forget numbers or visuals. And do not forget your very good introduction and your ask. When you do that next time, I'm very sure you'll be successful when you're delivering a pitch. Thank you.
Are you a youth in the Kampala metropolitan zone? Do you have business ideas and you don't know where to start them? Join the Youth Innovation and Entrepreneurship program by the Funland Club. Whether you're interested in web designing, digital marketing, or content creation.
Imagine learning business skills from problem solving to content creation, all from the comfort of your home. You will gain the skills you need and the confidence to put them into practice.
Joining this program gives you access to exclusive learning on entrepreneurship, including design thinking and digital marketing. Plus, you will be able to learn from the experts and also present your ideas to a wider audience.
By the end of the program, you have the complete business idea that you're ready to display to the world. And plus, we'll provide the resources and support that you need to make it happen. Funland Club is here to guide you every step of the way.
At the end of the program, you will have a chance to unveil your business idea on the Innovation Corner TV show and even showcase it at the Kidspreneur Africa Summit in Dar es Salaam. This is your chance to building your future. Let's make your business idea a reality.
It's more than just learning. It's about taking action and launching your business.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for those very insightful views on pitching and the whole overview of the entire process. So now we're going to dive into our question and answer session, which is going to be Ask the Expert. We're going to ask him different questions and just try to get a more in-depth understanding of pitching and the entire preparation process. But where I want to start is, so I'm a business, I want to pitch to an investor. Are there things I need to do, like, get myself in order? Because I know I can't just wake up and prepare a story and go before the investor. Things like formalizing my business, making sure my financials are in order. Am I registered with the government body I'm supposed to register with? So just give us a little insight on those few details.
Well, you must make sure that you don't fall out with investors, because usually investors can fall out in 1 minute. The reason why is that for them they have the key interest. For instance, an investor can be interested in particular segment. They don't want to know whether you're registered. They don't to know whether done something. They only want to know your projections. So they want to see you as a person and how you're looking at your business in the next 10 years. And that's what they're interested about. So they don't care what stage you are. So an investor, when you're connecting with them, just know about what they're interested in. It's very key that if you know about some information about these investors, do some research. And usually investors have kind of similar interests, because every investor wants to invest well and want to get profit. So when you're talking to them, make sure your key particular important thing is how do investors gain from partnering with you or investing in you.
Okay, thank you for that. So we need to know that we need to have ourselves in order, because I think it's very sketchy to work with like a business that doesn't pay their taxes on time. Then you question their credibility, you question their transparency, because you say this person is telling me ABCD, but their tax records are in shambles. So that's questionable. So like our expert has said, we need to make sure that our financials are in order, we pay our taxes, we're a registered business, and all of these things. Okay, so you know how sometimes things can be nerve-wracking. So how do I, as a person going to pitch for my first time, how do I overcome nerves? How do I make sure I'm able to deliver without my fears or my nervousness compromising the authenticity and quality of my delivery?
Well, someone can tell easily that this person is not prepared. And one way of being nervous is being prepared. When you have enough information about your business or whatever you're going to talk about, trust me, you're going to have the confidence. And the other thing is that fall in love with what you want to pitch. Fall in love with your idea. Fall in love with your innovation. If you're going to deliver it with love, with a lot of confidence, someone will like, oh my goodness. Even if it's wrong, by the way, someone is going to connect with it. So just overcoming nervousness is about you preparing and falling in love. So when you're in love with what you're doing or what you're talking about, well, you're never gonna get scared.
Okay, thank you. So preparation is very, very essential. Okay, so now I'd like to inquire, are there any common mistakes that people make while they're pitching? In their introductions, are there things they leave out which are essential for like our investors, our clients, or just people that could refer us in the future? Yeah, so may you please highlight on that?
Yeah. Well, when people are presenting, in most cases, they want to follow the format. But when you're pitching, you may forget some things that are very important. One thing I want to emphasize is on you ask. Well, every pitch should have this component of what are you looking for. If you're going to pitch about about your business and you want people to find you, maybe there's a pitching for $50K US, and you don't ask the $50K, then why are you pitching? So forgetting that is putting you in a hell of a mess. So you must make sure that you don't forget your ask. Make sure you don't forget your contact information. So if you have a website, if you have a Facebook account, if you have any social that people can find you, make sure that is very key and you bring it out. If you get those ones, and people easily gonna forget it. Then when you are presenting, most people always do this thing of not focusing on what their story is about. I mean, that's very wrong because people connect with emotions. So you forgetting to connect with your audience, even if you have the perfect business and the best idea on the planet, it's you're always gonna get results, but you're always gonna be late. So make sure that you don't forget your story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So we're remembering our story, we're being direct, and we're not forgetting our ask.
Yes.
So our next question is, what strategies can help simplify these complex terms in pitching? Because not all investors are really, you're going to come and say complicated things. Like if you're, for example, pitching like a medical research thing and you come and say, all these medical terms, but I'm just an investor. I just have money. I didn't do medicine, so I don't understand. How can you break down all these terms in your ask to make sure that your investor or your clients understand what exactly you're delivering?
Well, I also like suggesting that when you're going to deliver a pitch, that you know what the pitch is about. If this pitch is about investment, they know what are key terms that are used in investment. For instance, when you're talking about numbers, we always use terms like term, sum, total available market, serviceable available market. When you use terms like term or sum, it's very hard for a common person. But when you're doing it for an investor, that's a very familiar term. So at least every particular business wants an investor, and most investors have similar language. So make sure that when you're delivering your pitch, you use a language that is used in pitching, that is used for investors, because investors should be like, you have to compel to their language. They don't have to compel to your language. If from the medical field, forget about the medical things. Speak about numbers, speak about projections, speak about things that you think investors are going to be interested in understanding. Because if you don't, then you don't have them on board.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, thank you. So we need to be clear, we need to be articulate and understand who we're talking to. I'm talking to this investor. My medical ideologies are not going to apply. So I need to make sure I calm down to them and understand and deliver in a way that I can also be understood. So our next question is, what role does feedback play in pitch preparations? So maybe I wasn't successful in my past pitch and I was given feedback. How does that help me going forward in my future pitches?
Well, feedback is the biggest gift that every business person can ever get in life. No, not just in business, but actually in normal life. Because feedback is like, I feel you did not do well while bring out your story. So next time I'm doing my pitch presentation, pitch preparation, I'm gonna make sure that I bring out my best when I'm doing a story. If no one tells you about that, then you're gonna think you're good, but you're not. So being given feedback and they tell you about how you project your numbers, I think is wrong. So it helps you to go and look for the person who helps you do that better. Or if you may be doing a wrong approach in your customer delivery or customer relationships, and someone gives you feedback, I feel like that was no good, or think that you should improve in that particular area, then it helps you to go and prepare for that particular thing and do enough research, enough preparation to make sure it comes out well. Because that's the role of feedback. It helps you be a better person in future.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we have learned from this Ask the Expert session, we need to make sure that we are prepared. You know, when you're prepared, then fear has nothing on you. We need to make sure that we are in order, because if all your documentation is transparent, then the investor knows that they can trust you. They know that you're going to be honest and upfront with when money comes in, when things are not exactly working out. And they also know that you're going to be a problem solver. You also need to be proactive, which I think presenter Mr. Joseph brought up very well as he was taking us through the whole preparing for a perfect pitch session. And also, we need to have a story, a compelling story. Why do you do what you do? You know, business is not about, oh, people are selling cars and making money, let me go sell cars and make money. You need to have a story. You need to have something that drives you, because business is not easy. But if you have something that drives you, if you have a reason to do what you do, then you wake up and keep doing it even when it's not hard. And you'll get through the tough times because it's something that you're doing from your heart. Yes, so thank you so much for all these insights, all this information. And I believe that our viewers have been blessed and they know that next time they're doing a pitch, they know exactly what to do. So as we close our show, I just want to remind you all of the Youth Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program by the Kampala Metropolitan Zone. Registration has already opened, and please make sure that you are all registered before April ends, because this program begins on 2nd March this very year. So make sure that you register and have yourself in order. Keep brainstorming those ideas, write things down, be ready to make your pitches. You have some information already. So yes. Welcome to the Innovation Challenge. So I'd like to pose a question for you. If, for example, I'm a student and I'm seeing a lot of waste in my community, what's like an idea I can come up with to a business idea that can help solve the problem, but also earn me some money. Because, as a student, there's so many demands and you can't exactly ask your parents for everything. Sometimes they're not in a position to provide. So how can I be creative with this problem that I have seen? Because I know that's the first step of every business, identifying a problem and seeing how you're going to solve it. So I'm seeing there's a lot of waste around me. How can I, as a student, deal with this?
Well, that's a very, very amazing thing to think about. But as you know, you were in Africa, generally, we have got a lot of waste for this disposal. But now, when you're preparing to deliver a pitch or to solve this particular problem, because pitch is about how you're going to deliver that solution. So, first of all, you have identified that problem, which is maybe waste, and it could be associated with different problems like waste management, um, uh, good disposal, and you want to come up and say, how do we find a solution for maybe handling this waste very well? So when you're preparing for that particular innovation, so make sure that you do enough research and understanding how much actually waste do we have and how much in quantities, in terms of quality, and in terms of category. Is this waste maybe trash, the normal trash like plastics and stuff? And now when you're preparing the solution, you come up and say, okay, maybe we can use this waste to create books, to create art, artistic impressions that we can maybe sell in the museum. So you now go online and then research about what possible solutions can we get from maybe waste. And you're going to have different ideas. And then into those ideas, you have to think about your team that you're going to work with, your experience, your knowledge, and your skills. So when you're going to come up with a solution to do with this waste, because waste has got a variety. I have a friend of mine. He does eco-plastile, and for them they use waste to create, roofings. Okay. So as a person, think about a solution that is going to fall in the category of your knowledge, or the people you can also work with you that have that particular knowledge. So when you're building your solution, when you're building your pitch, for instance, think about the whole line, the whole value chain of who needs this particular product in case we maybe create these artistic impressions. Do the museums actually buy these things? Do the maybe tourists buy this stuff? The people who visit our school buy this stuff because they're students in this particular case. So think about your customer, think about production, think about your delivery, think about the whole value chain. So you want to make sure that at the end of the day, you have made sure that every single aspect when you're preparing for this is included.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Joseph. So we have seen how our expert has on the spot already come up with a pitch. So if you continue to educate yourself on the different aspect of pitching, then whenever you get an idea, you'll be ready and able to implement it. Thank you for attending today's show. I have been Michelle Mmamate with the Innovation Corner and Funland Club in collaboration with Hope Channel. See you in the next episode. Bye.